Yes, hello and welcome to this episode. And today we are bringing a special report, an annual report from police. And I want first to break a few statistics before I bring in senior experts to break down the report, because I understand not all of us are going to read and analyze the report very well. I want to quickly go through simple facts with figures, and before the experts like Ivan Kaahwa, Tony Kent and other security experts come in to discuss the report in detail. The police, they tell us that this year 2023 we have registered 945,035 cases under inquiry. We have 486,032 cases detected. We have 849,007 cases taken into court. We have 271,025 cases with convictions, 843 cases acquitted, 10,096 cases dismissed, 468,043 cases pending in court, 123,590 cases submitted to DPP. And when we go to detail of those cases, we have 50 cases. There are 659,001. When we got assault cases, 298,084 cases. When we go to domestic violence, we have 146,081 cases. Sex-related offenses, we have 148,046 cases. Breakings, we have 14,543 cases. Child-related offenses, we have 10,741 cases. When we look at economic and corruption crimes, we have 12,924 cases. So average number of cases reported to police every month is 19,004. And then when we see the population projection by mid-2023, we estimate 45. When I switch you to a studio, we are going to be having the senior security experts to discuss this report in depth, and we are going to make a follow-up from the time of inception up to the time when the case is going, when the report is going to be discussed fully and having different views and opinions from the public and informed experts. Otherwise, I switch you to the studio for experts to give you the details.
And probably it's unfortunate that the report didn't technically allude to the fact that what are the driving factors of these specific crimes or driving forces behind men committing more crimes. These are the things we have been commenting about each time and again. But now, when you look at the total number of cases reported in the year 2023, there are 228,074 cases, only 104,088 suspects were arrested. So technically meaning half of the reported cases, the police did manage to arrest half of that. So the question is, where are the rest? Many of these are not captured in the report, but those are subject to discussion with the members of the...
Subject to scrutiny.
Exactly, members of the fourth estate. The other important component is monthly. In the year 2023, they were reporting 19,000 cases. So you can imagine, that is across the country. Someone may say that is a very small figure, but to me, in terms of crime, 19,000, that's quite a very big figure. And remember, these are the ones that are captured, but even as they were drafting the report, more cases were also being reported in that regard. Now, when you look at the comparison with the year 2022, there is an increase in reporting cases monthly. In 2022, we are looking at 16,000 cases reported monthly. So you can compute on average every day how many cases are being reported at the police. But however, I want to also mention on the issue of the CID director, Tom Magambo, yesterday, actually said most of the people who report cases get frustrated because they feel that the police also has to handle civil cases. So more civil cases are reported to police, yet civil cases are supposed to be taken to court. Then you go to police, you report, you're frustrated because they don't handle that. So I also, from the report, what I read, I realized there is some kind of ignorance. It may not be ignorance, maybe the audience did not have access to platforms that where they can get information. Now, when you look at the areas that we talked of theft being the leading case this time around, and in theft, do you know what leads? The snatching of mobile phones.
Yes.
Snatching of mobile phones is actually a little bit high from unsuspecting individuals, and it happens so much in KMP, Kampala Metropolitan. That should be also a worry. The driving factors are not mentioned in the report. The theft of motorcycles is also on the increase. That is in the areas of North Choga, where theft is a little bit high, and then the theft of motor vehicles drastically reduced. You may say that is a little bit of a plus, but in the report they show you the pattern on how these are specific deals are carried out, executed.
Mastermind
Now,
executed.
Let's talk of the conviction. You see, conviction rates have increased, and someone may say, why would you be happy because of the convictions increasing? And it was computed that they have increased by about 71%. So technically meaning quite a number of people are taken to court and they are charged and something like that. But to me, what I'm looking at, what does it indicate if police is having a lot of convictions at the courts of law and something like that? It indicates that there is a robust move and execution of trying cases and even investigations and reporting. Now that is a positive side from the Uganda Police Force. Otherwise, when the conviction rates are low, it technically means you are undercapacitated, you do not have technology, you do not what you are alluding to, the issue of, is it CID? You talked of the officers, the few officers.
The detectives.
The detectives.
ratio. The ratio of officers to cases.
Yeah, the ratio here is still very bad. I think we are about
1 to 69. One officer, 69 cases.
One officer,
yes.
69 cases. That's quite really overwhelming. Even one case, by the way, depending on the magnitude, that ratio can reduce. So you find yourself spending about 6 months dealing with one case and you don't resolve it. But along the way, because of what the IGP talked about, welfare, because I'm handling Kent's file and Ivan comes, gives me some money, so you realize I leave your file, then I handle the other. Now all those are challenges that we really have to look into. Now the other interesting aspect I also wanted to talk about in terms of domestic violence. Domestic violence reduced, that's for figures, it's okay. But still we are looking at cases remaining in 1,000 and plus. And the most vulnerable people are the female.
The female.
Yes. So that should also show you, that goes with sexual assault and quite many. But the driving factors were not captured in the report. Now, murder by shooting. This one, the reason why I'm picking murder by shooting, that this syndrome is actually increasing day in, day out. And it should be a worry. But the report doesn't indicate which type of gun was used, who actually used that gun. Is it a security forces gun? Is it a private gun and something like that? But for statistics, murder by shooting in 2023 was actually at 300 from 279. The margin is small, I think about only 3 cases, but I mean, this is a gun. The report doesn't tell us whether these guns are out of the hands of these alleged criminals. So these are things I also wanted us to highlight about. Then the area that registered more shootings.
So in simple terms, the report does not have any recommendations.
The recommendations,
or remedies.
I read about the recommendations, but they're in general. But I'm looking at specific aspects. Yes. Now, murder by shooting is something that you should be interested in. Why are guns in the public? Terrorism technically increased as well. This should also be a worry. And the last scenarios we saw were the ones in Kaahwa. Now, you'll be shocked by the district that registered high cases of murder by shooting. That is Kabong.
Wow.
Kabonge is what is Kidepo. Cyber Kidepo National Park is going to Karenga. So that one should also worry us. Then, in terms of victims of defilement, I was a little bit dismayed by the fact that this is still happening. You can't believe that 383 victims of defilement were actually defiled by persons who are HIV positive. Now, to me, in terms of the health aspect, this is also something that really needs a lot of, handling. The defilement by guardians, which is at 90, but parents, 97 parents, defiled their own children. Then children with disability, 131. Then defilement by teachers. Now, here you're looking at the trend of teachers defiling pupils, and even persons living with HIV defiling people, and those with disability. So those are the three components. And these are marginalized. When you look at disability, that is a marginalized. Then look at the teachers. These are the people who spend a lot of time with our children, and the statistics are so alarming. Then the HIV, the driving factors are not here mentioned in. But I remember when we were discussing during the World HIV Day, we talked about the issue of someone maybe being stressed, they want to go and make revenge and something like that. These are driving factors that can be left to us. Now, unnatural offenses. Now, this is also interesting. Unnatural offenses, what do I mean?
Witchcraft.
No, LGBTQ.
Animal, incest.
Now, here is
bestiality.
the thing. 2019 we were in the lockdown, right?
No, 2020.
2020. 2019, that's when we were
Before.
As we are going to the lockdown. But COVID,
yes,
the
world had begun to get a feel of it.
There are 103 cases, 2019. Now, during lockdown, 2020, those cases reduced to 79.
Okay.
Then 2021, we added on one case to make 80. Now, in 2022, they were 83. But in 2023, they are 160. So, how do you explain this trend? How are we able to contain 2020, 2021, 2022? Is it because maybe people were under lockdown, they could not access their people, the animals were being slaughtered for eating, not for that slaughtering? that human slaughtering.
Now, just the way Enanga said it in the corridor.
Court cases. More cases are in court. And a lot of cases are being dismissed. I should ask why. Because I believe when someone reports, they really want justice.
Yes.
But cases are being dismissed. Here are the reasons the Director of Public Prosecution, Jane Francis Abodo, she said, witness absence in court. We have the Whistleblowers Act. You have the mandate by the security agencies to protect whistleblowers. There are those who even fear to give information because they do not trust in the institution called police to give them officer, because they dictate who is going to protect you.
Yes.
Now, she says sometimes they are not able to summon witnesses. Why? Underfunding.
And sometimes the cases lack evidence. The one that we actually talked about a little while earlier was the one that involved the ex-ED of the UNBS, who made it clear he paid 100 million for a bribe to keep his job, but
there is no recorded evidence.
There is no evidence.
Verbally,
so the case
audio,
is basically
video, nothing.
Even there are cases that have evidence, but witnesses not deliberate, out of fear, decide not to go to court.
Or perhaps the
Yes.
evidence is questionable.
And
The
evidence
evidence
is
is
questionable. And in tandem, you have the 48-hour rule, which also puts pressure on the police force. That's why the DPP was also talking about to revise the issue of bond.
Actually, some young legislators were advocating for cash bail being dropped because it's violating Section 4 of the Constitution of Uganda.
I saw that, but I wonder why this time it's violating it. It has been there, and all courts have been trying terrorism and so forth. They've been using the same constitution, so I don't know why now. Then look at the firearms being used in terms of aggravated robbery.
By the way, just to remind the dear listener, this time round we are coming to you live in partnership and collaboration with IT Media. Mr. Ivan Tukundane and his team are with us in studio. Though silent they are, they make sure they empower truth as well as inspire change, which is definitely a reflection of what happens on this radio at just about every other time we come through.
So concluding on this one, we talked of the traffic and the others, we'll come later, but I wanted to focus on these major criminals. Then crimes. Then the firearms used for aggravated robbery, they increased to 217. Now these are firearms being used to steal. You have the 300 that were used to kill. So the report doesn't tell us whether we have to
whether they're the same guns or
different. This is for us to look into.
And the report is also not indicating whether such guns are fingerprinted, like the directive was about 3 years ago, or not.
Yes. That is. Then there is there is narcotics. This is quite also interesting. When you look at the most used drugs or illegal drugs, I can say there is no. Is it there is herbal cannabis?
Cannabis.
The one that the officers normally call opium.
Then there is cannabis. Those plants destroyed. Those were destroyed. Then you have heroin and cocaine. But they're not really alarming. Though in 2020 we did not register any case of someone having cocaine and even heroin. The usage is either 1, 2, 3. But the danger, one person taking heroin, the danger can be equivalent to a ratio of about 1 to 60 people. That's how bad it is.
And of course, the police made it clear yesterday that not all cases have been reported. And
Yes,
so,
these
much
are
as the stats come through, there are those that are ghost cases. They
Then
go unnoticed. Perhaps unreported.
murder by rituals, by the way, abantu bakyasaddaka abantu. It's also sad. Nabo beyongeddeko in about 15 to 20. They are there, but it keeps on increasing. Now we need to interrogate from these whom they arrest, do they achieve what they want after ending somebody's life? These are the things we have to look into. Are shrines supposed to be existent if they are the ones being used to perform these rituals while ending lives of people? These are questions that I feel as an individual that need to be addressed. But last, on a good note, conclusively, when you look at the canine department, the Uganda Police Force, deploying sniffer dogs. Sniffer dogs have done quite a very commendable job.
Yes.
They have been able to track 20,897 cases. Wow. And from tracking these cases, 16,341 have been arrested. Male are 13,700, females are 1,692, and juveniles 949. So entirely, something is being done, but we have to deliberate on the causes of this. However, the director CID yesterday told us that on Monday, we shall face these guys to now ask, to break down real questions, to make sense out of these figures. To me, much as I see that the crime rate has reduced by 1.5%, but that's just a small component. I am seeing crime is a little bit high, and it should even worry us that from areas that are far away from Kampala, crimes of a huge magnitude, for example, having guns illegally, is high in rural areas, yet in KMP where almost every security agency, be it private, are having guns. Exactly. So that crime is much more the other side.
Okay.
For now, I'll end from there.
Wow, quite interesting. Sheena, before we bring Thomas onto the microphone, I mean, the juveniles, about 900 juveniles in cases. It's alarming for me. Why would a juvenile be involved in a case?
I want to look at it in this way of, first of all, let's start with their mental state, what they are surrounded with, the circumstances under which they're brought up, what they're raised, how they are raised, what they are going through. So that has a big component. Look at it. You find juveniles taking part in some of these crimes. Why? Let's say under the influence of drugs. Some of these drugs that I've mentioned, you get. Then also how they have been raised. Some are raised under poor homes. You find some are raised in places like, yes, the parenting. You find they're raised in like this sort of like slummy areas. Why wouldn't they do things to try and sustain themselves? You find like, for example, the girls are going to end up in two things to do with prostitution. They're going to end up in things like gambling. Others are going to start partaking in killing for a living. So I think it's really that their mentality, how they've been parented, the drugs they're taking. It's really a bit of that.
Very alarming. But Thomas, you must have a different take on that. And perhaps as you give us your take, we also want, because I've walked with you often in town, and somehow, somewhere, our eyes have been so much akimbo to traffic and how it happens. So I will actually wish that you so much concentrate on the traffic aspect, because traffic offences were on a high, over 500k traffic cases, traffic and road offences.
Yeah, first of all, good morning to you and colleagues in the studio. To you, the members of the media, and any other interested Uganda, this annual crime report may make sense to you. But to me, who is an ordinary Ugandan, witnessing people commit crimes and going scot-free with impunity, it may not make sense to me. Like Ivan said, every year the police gives us a report on how they are performing. An annual report is actually an accountability report that you are set out to do 1, 2, 3 things, and you are given the means to do it, and you did it, you failed, and you are showing us what probably made you to fail to achieve, and then the recommendations that you think next time you should improve. Now, it's not an event of just putting on a uniform and then showing us your ranks. It was supposed to tell us that in homicide cases, this is how we have handled, and these are the causes of homicide.
That is coming on Monday.
It's coming on Monday.
Because yesterday was basically a launch and the dissemination of the report. But Monday.
You, the media, said it was an annual accountability.
An annual report release. Yes.
Now, hopefully, the police thinks about telling Ugandans about what causes actually those crimes.
And that's going to be happening on Monday.
And what are the possible solutions of avoiding such crimes, and what are the possible punishments. Of course, like Ivan mentioned here, the director CID said that many Ugandans are frustrated because certain cases, especially the civil cases, are not handled, and because we don't know that actually the police concentrates on criminal offenses. Not
even that. Police has put up a mechanism that such can be handled within the society before they go to the end of the police.
It is not even the police that has put the mechanism. It is the Constitution of Uganda and the laws of Uganda that have put the mechanisms. But how many Ugandans actually believe in the mechanisms that have been set aside? For example, if there is a criminal offense against me, I have borrowed money from Shina, and Shina is not giving me money. I'm supposed to go to LOC, and LOC has a committee that sits down to mitigate or mediate between the two of us. But nowadays, if you go to LOC, you will actually only find in the LOC one chairperson who may not have solutions. Not every LOC one chairperson is knowledgeable about the laws, the local laws of Uganda. So there's a reason why they set up a committee, that if you fail in one aspect, the other person will advise accordingly. But that is failing. No wonder Ugandans are running to the police every day, even when they are involved in civil and simple cases. Now, some of this, the police, I didn't see. Ivan maybe will help me highlight where the police itself told us where it committed crimes, because it is possible that they also committed. I'm very sure that if I'm being arrested and I'm having my very nice shoe, I will not go with it at police. Yes, because I have seen it. But you go there and they say, what are you asking for? I think somebody has gone with them, wait. And for you has just come from the cell, you may not find it appropriate to sit there waiting for your shoes. So the question is, who takes these nice shoes of mine, of Ugandans, is it also that theft at the police station. Now,
I think, Thomas, you'll have to join us Monday as we go to police so you can ask those questions. Don't mind.
yes.
They don't only welcome journalists, they
No,
welcome
it's fine. I'll be
the
happy.
teams that go.
Yes, I will not be shy to be there because I interact with police officers. And these are the things that are happening. If you're telling a Tony Kent that you're a thief and you're also stealing, you should also be told that you're stealing. Now, Tony Kent, if you move at night with your wallet and you meet police officers on their way, chances are that you are not going to go with it. So it is the same thing.
And who takes it? You're insinuating the police does?
Yes, haven't they taken which evidence? And that is what's failing.
And that's why we are saying cases are failing, because evidence at one stage
It's not big.
Now, the
Yeah,
evidence,
that's true.
I think we must be bold as Ugandans to be able to tell people. For me, I'm not looking. It's not enough for me to tell you that you're a thief. If I can work on you by way of stoning, I will have told you you were a thief.
Please, let's not.
No, it is me. Police should arrest you and prosecute you. But for me, you cannot come into my house and you think that I will handle it in a civil way.
But
To tell you that
Yeah, but you're supposed.
no, you cannot break into my house and you think that I will handle you in a civil way. Because I don't think that you have come in a civil way.
Thomas,
break
let me
in
give
my
this
house.
to you. It was actually shared forth in the forward, something that you think and perhaps feel is not by the police. The Inspector General of Police shared and said that reportedly the force focused on strengthening discipline and adherence to human rights by introducing disciplinary courts in all districts across the country.
That is a good suggestion. But
It's there, it's not a suggestion. It's now a working formula.
okay. Now, how much have they achieved? Because they also have this.
How much? It's also here. For
Yeah.
instance, out of 933 complaints of human rights violations by police, which you are questioning, 794 were thoroughly investigated. That's an achievement.
What is the percentage of that achievement?
You did math, I didn't.
Hi.
So, but what are we trying to? What am I trying to say? That we must be able to give accountability in a more reasonable manner, because many of us can understand these statistics. But like I'm saying, you're coming from a community where I'm also coming from, and the report by the police is not accurate, according to me, because I have seen people commit crimes on a daily basis, and tomorrow they're walking around and bragging and saying, "Mulo was the police, they violated not to Kolachi." So you understand. So let us not pretend. Now look at our legal regime. Well, it perpetuates crime.
How?
By asking for evidence, even when the law says
Yeah, you're innocent until proven guilty.
guilty. Yes, but I've gotten this man in my house. I brought him to you, and then you're asking for the evidence.
But Thomas, we are talking basically about reported cases.
Yes.
And we should be giving credit that these cases have actually come through. It is you and I that report. And so when you and I don't report, even such a statistic will not come from the police.
That is true. Have we educated this Ugandan to be brave enough
We are
to
doing
report?
so right now.
Yes, but has the police, which has the mandate to go back because they have the community policy. I have lived in an area where there are a lot of crimes, but I have never seen the community officer
Coming through.
to explain some of these crimes, so that people can be able to avoid it. They only come to arrest whenever they have had. So, like the president says, we should always be concentrating on the preventive measures rather than the curative measures, because we may not have the means to cure some of these things. For example, what is our investigative machinery in order to report these cases to the DPP, so for prosecution and what have you. Now, the report also said we lack enough of them, isn't it? Isn't there a suggestion? Can't there be a suggestion that says that we bring in a policy of private investigators? Because they are there. Mr. Ege says they have always seen there. Yesterday I saw him over the news going to the crime of the late Sobi. You understand? Because he has the technical skills of doing investigation. Ivan Kaahwa here is an investigative journalist. Can't we employ them in a private way to help the police carry out investigations.
Yes,
So,
sorry.
I think
Shina.
where I want to sort of side with Thomas, and see where he's getting that with his point. Now, like some of the people where the crimes and the criminals that are getting off scot-free. Why am I saying scot-free? Yes, they've arrested this person for, let's say, stealing the chicken. But at the end of the day, the police is going to like let this person go. Or why? Because they're going to pay like an amount of money. If not, they're going to just decide and let them go. One, I think sometimes they're overwhelmed. Like we've said, look at the number of detectives and the police officers assigned to cases. They are what? They're very little. So I think sometimes they're overwhelmed with all these cases. And then also I think maybe some of them might be looking at it in a way of, I'm not paid enough money to do this. You know, this guy has just stolen a chicken, but now there's this one that we have to deal with who has actually probably murdered or defiled someone's child. You get.
Okay.
Then the other thing is bribes. I think they need to find a way to fund the police much more and also maybe increase on their salaries, I think, because the bribery in police is appalling. It's a bit too high. So I think if at all they're given much more money, they will actually get more guts to do their job better and stop accepting bribes, and maybe they will actually keep the criminals inside longer for the real allocated time they're supposed to be in for.
All right, interesting. But Thomas, maybe perhaps to respond to you as well. You did talk about what police has done. Wow, are they doing their thing? Well, maybe some of us will end up having jobs in police for this that they are doing for them. Chapter 8 of the report has the community policing, breakdown that they've been caretaking through the year 2023. And they say during that year, community mobilization and sensitization were conducted, including 2,417 radio talk shows, 141 TV talk shows, and 1,314 school outreaches. This, of course, summing up to a community policing that was conducted in districts, divisions, and just by the end of November alone, 2023, activities had extended to 8,894 villages countrywide. It's unfortunate you don't have a TV or a radio.
Tony
You wouldn't have gotten
not every Ugandan can afford a TV or a radio. And that report it was manufactured from a bodybuilding. For me, I come from a community. I live in a community. No, I live in a community, in a village, in a parish, and I'm telling you that I've never seen it there.
But how sure are you they are there right now while you're with us at UBC?
No, at least I'm a known figure in my area. Something that goes on, I think I'm in the know.
But you people have a police, Chibuli police.
Tony Kent, last year you and I were here on a talk show, on radio here. How many police officers came in this studio to talk about crime?
Apparently, Enanga told us he was busy.
Giving you accountability of more than 2,000 talk shows they held. And Magic100 is one of the best radio stations. Listen, in too. So you cannot tell me about that. That is boardroom. Acid worship. They call it acid worship. But what you say, we live in areas where crimes are committed. We see criminals there, even bragging.
Okay. On the bit of forensics, they did highlight the aspect of forensic services. Of course, this is a real report, much as Thomas is calling it a boardroom report. They say the use of advanced scientific techniques acquired since 2019 has significantly enhanced the demand for forensic services from 165K, let's say the youthful way, to 211K in 2023, thus signifying a 28% increment. And actually, from January to December 2023, 1,820 expert reports were issued, and of this 181,000, that is now the total element of it, 181,000 police clearance certificates and 39,000 crime scenes processed, as well as an increase of from 25,000 crime scenes in 2022. Okay, in brief, the case clearance rate now stands at 60%, up from 49% in 2022. So somehow we give them credit, no matter the load each officer has to deal with.
Yeah, I'm not outplaying their role and saying police does nothing. All I'm saying is that we don't feel what they do on the ground. But if they were not there, maybe it would have been worse.
Exactly.
You understand?
I don't know. Ivan will come in later because I remember when the president ordered for these makeshift police posts to be off and then have the concentration at the police stations. Remember that's the executive order? I think it came around early last year, and we had a discussion on it here on the radio. Could it be a reason to reckon with in aspects of the crimes that we recorded in 2023 alone?
Maybe yes, maybe no. All we need to know how some of us who are living close to those police posts, how are they helping us? Because they had brought the services nearer to us.
Okay.
And somehow somebody would fear to commit something because he's seeing police post.
Police.
But now you need to have transport. By the other aspect, I've never reported a case at a police station, and the police officers they ever ask for transport. Now, whatever, if I don't have transport, I don't proceed with my case. You understand? Yes. Now, the last time I told you when somebody wronged me,
photocopy and
when I went there, the man told me go to that particular photocopier and then 60,000 and then come with 20,000. Then I asked him, how did you know that photocopier is at 60,000? I knew that was his.
Okay. Well, probably as Ivan makes a rejoinder, this is guidance to the callers. We shall probably just take 3 or maybe 4 calls, and they have to be as minimal as 30 seconds, at most 45 seconds, because we need to give you a response. If you call to give stories, it will be unfortunate because we don't have a lot of time. We only have 30 minutes to the end of the show. Ivan.
I can feel the pain of Wamono when he talks about how the police is operating. Now, I believe that police might be overstretched, having about 52,000 personnel and even civilians, because it also employs civilians. It's not entirely someone who has gone for training and something like that. But even Shina can go and work in the Uganda police force.
Yeah.
They have some kind of expertise, different from our counterparts in the UPDF. But when you look at the number, UPDF and police, UPDF having about, it's almost the same, 52,000. And even Uganda Police Force, let alone those who are deployed in other AMISOM and so forth, over 10,000. So we have capacity. Now, I want to reckon this. From the IGP statement, there is something he mentioned that caught my attention. That when you look at that reduction from 2022 and then 2023, was a result of collaboration with sister agencies. But he was clear and mentioned them.
Yes.
Special Forces Command,
Yes.
JAT, and prisons, and CMI. So, these are institutions, you never hear about them in most of the news, that SFC has conducted an operation and something like that. So technically, it shows you that the police force has to deal with the wananchi, let alone the other agencies that deal with sophisticated crimes.
Yes.
The way police handles an individual is totally different from how another person will handle you.
Okay.
So technically, I think that even the presidential directive, when you go to Greater Masaka right now, Tony Kent, most of the areas having at least 1 police post per sub-county, deployed with 18 police officers. And the president made some mathematics that now if you're having this number, this one is sleeping, you have to change, you need to put their backup. So technically, meaning you need 20 per sub-county. How many sub-counties do you have in the entire country? You could be, look at the parishes themselves, about 10,000 parishes in the country. How many police officers will you need to put on every police post?
Okay, Ivan, probably you'll make the final one as we get there. Magic 100.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Good morning, Ken.
Please just go ahead.
Yes, this is Francis speaking from Namambe.
Yes.
My number 1 question. How does the police of Uganda help the local person? I have a school in Tororo where a deputy impregnated 7 pupils, primary 7 pupils, 2 girls got pregnant. When this lady went to police, in fact, it is me myself who escorted this lady up to CPS Tororo. When we reached CPS Tororo, they told me, you go and bring the police letter, the LOC1 letter, plus a statement from the head teacher. we had a editor's statement attached on with the letter from the committee, but still the police resisted that they want the LC1's letter. This lady goes back. Me, I had no time. I had to travel back to Kampala. I want the lady to go back. The old woman went back to the LC1. The deputy head teacher had gone to bribe the LC1. They tell her, you wait, we are going to test the girl, you first leave, we shall handle that. Until now, they kept on tossing the lady like this up to now as we speak right now.
So in summary, how does police help such a person? Thank you, Kawinya. We'll respond to that. 0783 064 530. Please make your queries brief. We are super bright to understand what you mean by the simplicity of it, whichever way it comes. Magic 100.
Juma 2024 Kusega. Police. How wish the constable who handle cases or criminality will show us the transparency. They will come to the road traffic. If you don't have money, this use in the road will become difficult. Even a pedestrian. There are some other parts of these cities when it is jam after jam. There are those flukers who know how to fluke. You can pay. And those will we term that one as the corruption? Because for you also time is demanding you to wherever you are going, you want to reach in time. But jam has brought that interruption. But what I may say, busy day good night briberies. This issue of a traffic officer is pretending that is a capturing your number plate or forwarding your case to their headquarters, and yet at the end of the day, that so long as you touch your pocket, then you say, okay, you go, but it's okay, you have understood your problems. Okay. This should be condemned 100%. And this CCTV camera, we have not to be waiting for until the criminal happen. Where how they chased visit Miraboda border at a high terrible speeds, and this border is just fighting for it like that. Then you keep on riding, going ahead. But you find one boy has not
point second, Juma. Point second. Of course, point second. I don't know how we can best pick as many calls as possible. But briefly, gentlemen, I think those two calls are just enough. The crime on the traffic, which Juma highlights therein, and how we can help Kawinya. Traffic, people know how to drive, but they don't know how to use the road. Of course, you know how to drive, but how to use the road. And try to be brief, Wamono. Just use a minute and a half.
Okay. Those days when the traffic officers were putting on white uniforms, you'd see their pockets dirty. So my analysis was they were over-touching their pockets as opposed to seeing where the vehicles are.
That is just Thomas.
Me, I said my analysis.
Your pockets are dirty. How much money do you have?
No, how have you seen? It's not a white trouser. Yeah, but it is serious. You cannot be fighting crime or criminality while creating more crime.
So you're saying police is abetting to these things?
100%. Okay. You remember Sobi when he was being interviewed by one of the journalists. What did he say? That for him, if he wants to go and rob,
tells them so
first calls the police officers, then never then never come out.
This will be the time we would have taken a third phone call. Let's give it to the IT media team. Ivan Tukundane is with us. Probably a minute or two can do before Ivan and Sheena close it out.
Yeah, Tony Kent, thank you so much, and I so much collaborate with this annual accountability report of the police. And what I may tell the viewers is all of us cannot read and understand this report. So for me, I call upon everybody to come, pay attention to Magic 100 and subscribe to IT Media, because I have seen the experts, on YouTube, the Ivan Kaahwa, who are going to break down everything for you to understand. And I promise we are going to really have a follow-up on this report until the end. Otherwise, thank you so much, and thank you. I also appreciate Thomas, who is bringing out the other side of where most people may be.
Even Heske sent a message here. It says police are top criminals fueling these crimes through corruption and bribes.
But thank you so much, and I wish you all the best.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Sheena and Ivan.
Yes, on my end,
And more
I
so
would
the
say,
traffic element.
yes, what I will say, yes, now basing on the traffic elements, I think let's come together. Let us find a way of helping the police. How? It starts with them, their management. See how to maybe increase their salaries, see how to give them more funding or give them ways of motivation so that they do not have to come back and also implicate themselves by asking us for those bribes and all that. But we thank the police for the good work they've done. We hope we shall work hand in hand with them to make sure they do even a better job of all this that they're doing.
Ivan, in a very interesting abstract as we end, you and I discussed the fines, 1 billion for knocking a person dead, 10 million for this and this. Do you feel as this report came through with traffic and road offences stopping the list of crimes
Those just
that was
those
implemented?
just arose our ears, and we were happy we had about all that information.
Because I would believe
But-
you've made more money from criminal offences.
I do not agree absolutely with anyone who says that corruption has led to more road accidents in this country, throwing that to the Uganda Police Force. The question is it the Uganda Police Force that does the inspection of these vehicles? Is it the Uganda Police Force that is charged with importing second-hand vehicles? Is it the Uganda Police Force that issues driving licenses? Are they the one that issue third party? Technically not.
But they
Now, you have
inspector of vehicles is
you
police.
have existent institutions that are doing much of the problem, about 97%. But because the police, who is charged with maintaining law and order,
sacrificial lamb.
is a sacrificial lamb. So technically meaning, if a police officer says "Mpayo mutwara ogende," because you do not have a permit, it is not his problem. Probably the one who gave you the permit did not explain to you that if you are moving, you have to move with your permit. But in case you don't have it, you can produce it after 48 hours whatsoever. But is police also aware of these kind of regulations in place? So to me, with corruption aspect, police chairman chiyandibadde cracking her down, it is overloading. That is the thing. I was even disappointed in Tibatwala, that gun, speed gun, on a place like Entebbe Express.
Yes.
A place
A
that is
place
one
where
way, no,
the speed
you know.
is actually.
So, kati eyo ino okubeera waliwo bagiteeka mu corner, ne bagiteeka wali hub. So sometimes it's not really very good. That gentleman did not take his number, but that's a case worth following up. The one of
Emma Nambole.
Emma Nambole. Probably if you have Tony Kent's number, we can liaise and see how that case can be handled.
All right, thank you, Ivan. Thank you, IT Media. Thank you, Sheena, Kent, Wamono, and of course the IT Media team proper. Leave alone the man himself, Ivan Tukundane. Of course, they are available on YouTube. You can actually follow them, subscribe to get much more as it will be happening. Of course, a lot more is going to be dissected on this, and you can be sure experts will be speaking, people from police will be speaking as we do. As we can confirm. Otherwise, we'll be catching you when we come through. And as of now, we switch you to the newsroom. It's been the hashtag on the breakfast, Magic100fm.
IT Media.
Empowering truth, inspiring change.